Hey y'all, welcome back. And
Hi.
if you're new, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We're knitting in our jeans.
Yes.
I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find the podcast on Instagram and on Ravelry. On Instagram, it's Knitting in Our Jeans, all one word. And on Ravelry, if you search the groups, we're Knitting in Our Jeans as well.
Did we post any pictures today?
No, because the one I have of you, I don't think you're going to be happy with. The one I took of you being a boat bum is not a flattering photo.
I felt like a rag doll.
You looked like a rag doll.
I think I could have been a dead body at the front of the boat.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show you it. It's not
I was very relaxed. I was waiting for the signal to cast off the boat.
I thought you would hit me if I had put that up.
It makes me look a little bottom heavy.
Just a little.
So yes, we took a friend of ours out sailing. It's the first time she's been on a sailboat in her life, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a great day because it was really kind of calm. So at first we motored around and showed her Port Washington and Plandome and Great Neck from the water, which I guess she had never seen.
Yeah.
And then we got out into Long Island Sound and we were able to put both sails up, the main and the jib, and it was just nice and calm.
Lovely.
Yes.
Dad had a very good time.
He did. He really did.
He was very excited.
She's known as Travel Buddy because she went with us to England as a senior in high school. It was the Girl Scout troops senior trip. By that time, there were only 2 girls in the troop, and they had saved their cookie money since they were 13 to pay for the trip. And we went to England, and then we had a 1 day in Paris, taking the Channel train. And she has been travel buddy ever since, because we had said everybody needs a travel buddy on this trip. And she said, well, I'm going to pick Dr. Predmor. And she did. So she said, you're going to think I'm going to pick Liz, but I'm not. So she has been travel buddy ever since. So we had a really good time today.
We did. And I think she did too.
I think so too. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So we had a work along.
Yes.
That I found very inspiring. I, as usual, thought I could get more done than I did. Part of the reason is that back to that boat thing, I sleep really well on the boat. In fact, it's almost like for me being in a car and I'm not the driver, it really lulls me to sleep. And when we're on a mooring, the boat is just slow, just a little rocking action, which I understand for some people makes them ill, but for me, my head wants to go forward. So this is our 42nd episode.
Yes.
Yes, so 42nd episode. Anyway, and so I don't get as much done when we're having a vacation on the boat, particularly this boat, than I do if I were home or on down in January on the catamaran. On the catamaran, I don't fall asleep at the table. It's more open. I guess I can see more things. But when I'm down below in our cabin, it's dark-ish. And I don't know. I'm so relaxed I fall asleep. So
it could be the whole catamaran versus monohull.
It could be.
Yeah.
So I did not get as much done. I mean, I really thought I'd actually work on all 3 things that I had proposed. Yeah. And I didn't. But
I decided to knit 2 sweaters instead.
Yes, and she got one of them done?
I got both of them done. I have the other one here that I finished at the retreat.
Right, and you're going to show that.
I will, because I forgot it last week.
I started a sweater for my father, which we'll show in a little bit because that's on my needles, and I've really made good strides with that. My dad, I think as I mentioned, has Parkinson's and is getting dementia, and so when we saw them on Labor Day, he said, so you have my sweater for me? And I didn't have a sweater for him, but I had started working on it, so that has taken some of the time. But
my one little white hair that's right there always makes me think like I have like dandruff or something right there.
I think it makes you look like you have sparkles.
I know, but I always think I have like a little piece of something in my hair, and then I realize that it's like the white hairs that are right there. Sorry for that distraction, y'all.
Mine are all over the place. So anyway, but what I did do is I did a lot of work on this
Remember Cowl. How far are you through now?
I am exactly halfway. The cowl is 82 rows, and I have just finished row 41. And there are a couple mistakes on the inside, but they're little mistakes. And I will say that this, I'm having trouble with some of my poppies. For those of you who know me, you know I'm dyslexic. And I lost track of the poppies.
Of course you did.
Friday and Saturday, I lost track of my poppies. So there's something going on with the poppies right here that I'm going to have to, I think this poppy wants to have 2 centers or something. But other than that, I'm going to obviously continue working. I'm going to get it finished for Rhinebeck. So it'll be my Rhinebeck cowl. I have the Rhinebeck sweater, and crossing fingers, I will finish the Oracle shawl from Kristen Vollenvine. But this was one of the 3 things that I proposed, and it went from being a little nubbin, like down to here someplace,
like 3 or 4 rows,
exactly, to this, and I'm really, really happy with that.
Really well done.
Yes, and it's going to be so warm, and I've decided that I'm going to make a hat out of black and red. I think Knitting Expats, Mina Phillips Dragon Tooth hat is what I want to do. And I made it last year and managed to lose it. I'm so mad. I had Stonehill yarn that I made it out of. I love that hat. I love the wool. So I'm going to be looking, come Rhinebeck, I'm going to be looking for something like the Stonehill yarn. If I don't find it, then I'll be looking at Thanksgiving down at Fiberspace. You're the one who took your camera took the picture of us at Fiberspace?
I thought I posted it.
I said I'd send it to Danielle, so you need to email it to me.
Okay.
So if you email it to me, I'll email it to her. Because I told her that we were so excited about her new store and that we had stopped by on.
When did you get in touch with Danielle?
2 weeks ago? A week ago? Something like that. She sent something to me, so I said, we saw the new store, because they're moving into a new store.
They moved.
On Prince Street. And it's very close to the hotel that we stay at when we go down to visit my parents. So when we went over for Labor Day weekend that Sunday, we saw the store, we took our picture, and so now I'll send it to Danielle. I really can't wait to see the new, everything set up in the new store, so that will be fun. So I did this much on one of the 3 projects.
I realized I do have something to talk about, and I left it downstairs. You continue talking about that. I will be right back.
So, careful.
Send.
So this is mine. I had said I was going to work on something she's put all her stuff on over here. Mitts. Get my mitts. This is the mitt I said I was going to work on. This saw no love whatsoever. It's still just as pitiful as it was before, but it's on my radar. So I think, for me, the work along went really quite well in terms of getting me moving on some of these things. So I was quite pleased with our make along. What about you?
Well, I knit 2 sweaters.
Yes.
For myself.
But
instead.
Not out of
nothing that was a whip. So, I mentioned last week that I had finished my Ginkgo.
And I love
for
these
the
colors.
retreat, and I did. I have to put in the I-cord at the back neckline because it does, because of the silk content and the weight, like just the weight of the sleeves, it kind of starts becoming
one shoulder
off the shoulder. So it definitely does need.
I like it.
It does need a tie, and then.
Was it supposed to have a tie?
Yeah, it's supposed to have the tie across the back.
Yes, I remember that.
And then I had also, I have a
loose thread.
Few loose stitches in the back. It's okay. It's not loose. It's just.
I like the color. The color's really pretty.
Yes, it's the Bad Beginning. It's the June Random Fandom from Nerd Girl Yarns on Swanky DK, which is silk and merino, and it's so smooshy. I just
love
sit here and pet it. It's great.
If she ever leaves it at this house,
you're funny. Mine. You're funny. So what I had done to be able to wear it was crochet up the seam, the two side seams. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to undo them because they're quite tight and my hands don't match. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mattress stitch them. It looks pretty even when you put it, except for yeah. I think I ended up actually knitting more on the back than on the front because I just couldn't tell when I was actually knitting it. Oh well, you can always.
Well, we're gonna watch the Emmys tonight.
Yes, well,
so there's time to
I'll take it out probably tonight, and then I'll redo it maybe next week on the dining room table because I think I've realized that I do my best seaming for garments on the dining room table. Yeah, because you can set them out. I have my own table at my apartment, but the table here is light wood, which makes it easier to see on.
Isn't that interesting?
Personally, I find that at least. And so I've done some seaming, I've done seaming of smaller things on my table at my apartment, but I found that for larger things, I also want a bit more space also because I'm so used to working at this table, I think is also part of it. Because we've had this table my entire life and it's always been where, we do crafty things.
That's true.
So I think that is going to happen.
Okay.
And then, as we said,
I didn't know you had this book.
That's why I went to go get it. So, yeah, I didn't work on any of the work-along projects at all. Because why do that when you want to knit 2 sweaters for a retreat that you're, helping to get going? About that. Yeah. So I still have half of a sweater to do. I have probably 85%, not even, 95% of another. And I still have the rest of the blanket to finish for Matt and Jill. But she hasn't responded to any of my messages in the last few months, so I'm going to finish it. I'll find their address out and I'll send it over to them. And if, you know what, that's it, that's it. But what I'm furiously trying to get to the end of the row here is I've got up to section 2 in my Oak Park cowl, which I had cast on at the retreat, which is all garter stitch. So I've been ill since last week.
I think lack of sleep at the
I slept a lot. I think it's just
you had to get up early for the flight home,
and it might have been that. I had a sinus infection going out there, so it could have been exacerbated by the flights.
Absolutely.
So now I have my voice back. My nose is stopped being stuffy, so I can breathe through my nose, which is really nice.
Breathing's always appreciated.
Yeah. But I seem to have developed a small cough.
It's always something.
Which is very frustrating.
Shall we talk about who won our work-along?
Oh my goodness, I thought you had done that.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So back to our work-along, to close out our work-along discussion. We had 2 entries.
Yes, other than ourselves.
Rachel, R. Carmichael, and Ashby, AAC1024. And unfortunately, Rachel did not post anything. So post any finished or progress photos. However, Ashby finished a shawl.
And it's gorgeous.
And it's so beautiful.
Really gorgeous.
So congratulations, Ashby.
And this
beautiful skein
is what you've won.
Here Come the Relatives. Is that what it's called? The colorway?
Yes. The Relatives came. Yes, it is 80% superwash merino, 20% silk, 400 yards for 100 grams from Swatch This Fiber Arts. And I liked it so much when we got it that I ordered one for myself. So, in a slightly different colorway. So Ashby, I will be bringing this to you. Or if you want me to mail it, give me a Rav message with your address and I can mail it to you. So either way, you'll get this. So good for you, Ashby. I'm so excited for you.
So yes. Yay! And yes, fortunately, both of them are in our knitting group that we go to.
On Monday night.
So we know them.
Yes.
So last week I showed you that I had started my Oak Park section 1, which is the long, skinny section of it.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, ooh. Don't want to drop stitches off the end of it.
No dropping stitches.
So I have finished all 500 and something rows.
Wow.
Of that. And then you pick up the sides. So I've picked it up. I've done the border color, the border, and now I'm doing the edge color. Because it's modular around that center piece. So you do this side, and then I think you pick up on this side across here.
Makes sense.
And you knit up here for a little bit. And then you knit this side, and then you do borders on each side.
Nice.
Yeah, so
that'd be really nice.
Yeah, and this is the cowl. Since I already have a scarf and I already have the shawl, I figured why not
complete the set,
and I will now have a Oak Park cowl in, nice. As I've been calling it, my kick-ass ladies cowl. It's all in Nerd Girl yarns.
What surprise.
It's in Foxy, and the Nevertheless is on Smashing DK, which is gorgeous, and I don't know if you can see, but it sparkles. So we have Osgood, we have AKA, Nevertheless, that is Mahogany, and then the borders are all in White Queen. So, it doesn't really follow the color progression, light to dark suggestions that Laura Aylor gives, because I really enjoy having gray borders, light gray borders for all of mine that I've done. And then I really wanted Nevertheless to be the two large, long sections. So I then took the other three colors and determined what was the light, medium, and dark of those and put those in 4 colors, 1, 3, and 5.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited. I think the Osgood looks a little out of place with it, but I think it'll be. I think it's a good kind of interesting and out of place.
I do.
Because it gives it a little bit of variety, and there's only one other section, and I think it's the section that goes across here that has that color in it.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited. And as I said, since I've been sick, all I've had the energy to do is to go to work, come home, and sometimes sit on my couch and knit in garter.
Knit garter stitch, okay.
Because it's real easy.
Okay.
What have you been working on?
I have been working on my dad's sweater, as I mentioned. And it is in here. And I have made some great strides on this sweater. Let's try to get this. It's a cardigan, for those of you who
It's the Playdate cardigan by Tin Can Knits.
Yes, it is.
In Miss Babs Yummy. And I don't remember the colorway.
I don't remember either.
But it's this beautiful gray blue.
So what I've got is I now have the back done up to where I managed to just before we started podcasting, bind off the neck edge. So I have one set of shoulders ready to go. So here's
Are you going to 3-needle bind off that, or are you going to graft that? What are you going to do?
I like 3-needle bind off on the wrong side. So that the bump is on the inside, but this is an over sweater. This is not a pullover. This is something that goes over his flannel shirt or whatever, his sweater, whatever else he's got on. So I think that that light bump that you get with a 3-needle bind off will be fine.
I think it also gives a little bit of stability. I've found because my my Mount Pleasant, the crop top I did the 3-needle bind off at the shoulder. The Ginkgo doesn't have a shoulder seam. I kind of wish I had put maybe a garter bump there, but I didn't. But it does have a seam at the underarm, and I did do that with a 3-needle bind off, and I like how it looks, and it's just so much easier for me than Kitchener-ing.
And these stitches are live, so I can go back and certainly do the 3-needle bind off. Mm-hmm. My plan at the moment is to go in and work on this right front and get the right front up to the shoulder, and then look at the directions. I believe at that point you do the shoulder seam. Mm-hmm. So I will do that, and then I'm going to set it aside because I've got my Age of Asparagus sweater that has been kind of off to the side. That's my plan, because I'd like to get that on schedule for halfway and done and all that kind of stuff, because I really want the sweater. And then I will be finishing this in the meantime. I mean, this is just so easy with stockinette stitch. I'm really aware that he wants this desperately, and I would like to get it done by Thanksgiving, because we'll be seeing them in person for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So I think that's very possible. I think that's possible. So what we've got left is a front, 2 sleeves, and then a button band. And then that's it. So it's really come along. I'm very, very happy with this. So that's what I've been working on. Those 2 things, the cowl and this, and a little bit of the asparagus, but the asparagus doesn't travel well. No. Because it's really intricate cables. Just like the cowl doesn't travel well. So with the cowl, my plan is to go back to doing 2 rows a night. So I have 41 rows to go.
Which means you have about 20 days.
20 days, which gets it done before Rhinebeck. So I'll have it done for Rhinebeck. I may not get the Oracle shawl done in time. I would love to, but I don't know. I didn't expect my dad to be so enthusiastic about getting a new sweater. I really didn't. Yeah. It's wonderful that he is, but that's kind of moving around my schedule. So we'll see. I wish the hands would go faster, but I like what's getting done. I'm very pleased with how this looks, and I'll work on this right front during the Emmys and hopefully get that done so I can do the shoulders. I've got a paper that I'm working on for school, so I need to work on that some each night too. So darn, when your work gets in the way of your knitting, really unattractive. So that's what I'm working on, and it's really making good strides. Absolutely. And my green sweater really hasn't had much done to it in the past week, not since I picked you all up. So, and I'm actually going to take that back down so I can get really reoriented within the pattern. But I'm happy with it.
Good.
It'll be good.
So, do we want to talk about the book and event I went to this week, or do we want to talk about all of my new knitting plans that I've told you about?
Or we could show this.
Or we could show that.
You can talk about the book.
Okay. So, I don't know if you all know, but Clara Parkes has a new anthology out called A Stash of One's Own. She's so on a book tour right now, going to bookstores and yarn shops across the country. So I saw her when she was at Knitty City on Wednesday. And so I have
a signed copy.
Ah. Which is interesting because I think I also have the Yarn Whisper, a copy of the Yarn Whisperer that's signed, because I got that from the Strand. I have not been able to read any of this, but the excerpts she read are just amazing. And I'm so excited. And what she read the whole essay, I believe, of Debbie Stoller, which is the last one in the book. I'm not going to read it aloud, but it's titled A Stash of One's Own, Yarn as a Feminist Issue. And it's really interesting, and I really hope that you all are, go and get the book, because I read Knitlandia and just fell in love with her style.
I love Knitlandia, yes.
And it was amazing.
Absolutely.
And then she was giving out...
You didn't tell me about this. I would have had you get one for me.
I could have sworn I told you.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yes. This looks great.
I know. And then she was giving out these licenses to stash, issued by Clara Parkes, Secretary of State of Knitlandia. The holder of this card is fully authorized to acquire, tend, and dispose of whatever stash is necessary to fuel her or his creativity, mark important moments in time, and maintain an overall sense of well-being.
Nice.
So yeah, it was super cute. She's so great. I have a photo of her with Tanya and I, T-Knit Pearl, and so I will post that. I've been waiting to post that. I don't know why, but I just have. And actually, the reason I remembered was because she was at Fiberspace on Thursday, which was like their second day open in the new shop. And I saw photos from that, and that looked so good, and I'm just like, oh, that shop, so excited.
It's gonna be great.
But yeah, it was so wonderful to be in the discussion that was had at Knitty City. And about how, yarn and knitting and stash as a feminist issue kind of thing is kind of where the discussion turned, for us at least, which was quite interesting.
Very.
So yes, I thoroughly encourage everyone to go and read it. I'm super excited to sit down and read it. What I'm actually a little fidgety about is the fact that I can't find my Knitlandia or my Yarn Whisperer. So, yeah. Tanya says she's seen it in my apartment. The thing is, the last time I saw it was right before my birthday. Mm-hmm. And then Dad came into my apartment. And cleaned. So, I don't know where they are.
I'm not bearing any responsibility.
No, it's Daddy. It was all Daddy. Because you were like, no, this is your apartment. You are perfectly allowed to have a party in whatever state you would like to have it in.
Yes.
And Father was like, no, this is not okay. And I was like, it's my apartment. And he was like throwing things in my bed. Like he
wanted more space. What'd you find?
I had thought that my tax stuff hadn't shown up. He had brought it to my birthday and shoved it in my bookcase. I found it in May or June. Mind you, our accountant had sent another one because I called and I was like, I don't have one. And he was like, oh, I sent one. And I was like, I don't know what happened to it. My father stuffed it in my bookcase.
He's very helpful.
He's so helpful. I love him dearly, but oh, dear Lord, is he so helpful. So yes, so that was an event I went to and it was amazing. And I really enjoyed hearing her speak. And then we ate dinner at a very sketchy diner that was around the corner. It was very weird. Very weird.
No, Wednesday was the day I didn't go into work because I wasn't feeling well.
Right.
So I was sleeping most of the day. Yes.
Yeah, and I also didn't feel well at that time. So we get out and I was like, I want food. I want to go home. I want to shower, and I want to go to bed. And Tanya was like, okay, food first. Why don't you find food? And I was like, there's a diner around the corner, as per Google. And she was like, okay. And I was like, then you get to figure out how to get us home. Because we were on the upper west side, so none of the trains that we take go there. So we had to transfer twice. Which was fine, because Tanya loves the MTA. Well, not the MTA, but loves the transit system. So she knew exactly where to go. And so I was like, great, fantastic, thank you. Because I'm slowly dying here, sitting on the subway. Yes. So yes, that was that. So what did you get in the mail this week?
I got the Webs catalog. And do you see that coat on the front, I have just fallen in love. I just knocked me over. And I was trying to stay away from it, and I finally looked it up on Ravelry, and it's made in sport weight.
So,
sport weight.
She did what any normal Ravelry user would do. She went and dove through her stash on Ravelry and found Headless Horseman from Dragonfly Fibers last year, Rhinebeck color.
Yes.
And it's on Damsel?
It's on Damsel. So it is sport weight. And it calls for anywhere from 1,800 to 3,200 yards, depending on the size that you're going to make. And I've decided, since I've got...
You've got 2,010 yards in stash.
Yes. So I'm going to knit the sleeves.
Yeah.
And then I'll knit... Hopefully
it's knit top down.
Well, I have to buy the pattern. I haven't bought the pattern yet. Now that I found that I have the yarn... We'll buy the pattern. So if I'm lucky and it's top down, then I can, after knitting the sleeves, I can just knit till I run out of yarn and then say enough. But I think that is just going to be great. There you go. That's a good picture.
Yeah, because there's a beautiful purple in there.
Yes. So my Rhinebeck yarn from last year is going to be put into play. So that is really exciting. Of course, I've got all this other stuff that I'd love to put into play.
Yeah, and all that other stuff there. And, oh, yes, what is this behind us? Right about that.
This came from there.
It did come from there. I'm very impressed. I'm very proud of you.
Yes, you should be.
I am extremely proud of you. So,
what are your plans that you're getting into trouble with?
So, I didn't bring it upstairs, but I brought the yarn that I bought last week. Because I forgot to photograph it. And so I need to photograph it and stash it. And for some reason, it works out better when I do that here. I think it's because I'm not distracted by my own apartment.
That could be.
So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to fade the Haitofudi.
That's right.
How do you pronounce that?
I'd say Haitofudi.
The Haitofudi. Out of the Peregrine Home for Peculiar Children yarn, and I'm going to do it light to dark. And I think that'll be fantastic.
It's going to be great.
And I think it'll go with a lot of things. I'm really hoping I'll wear it. I'm really, I can't believe I bought 4 skeins of essentially white yarn with speckles. It's gorgeous. I just don't wear white. So I can wear it over a lot of things. And the Haitofudi is really wearable from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So
I love mine.
And then I found a top I want to make with the chainette yarn. I'll show you that.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're working
the
swatch of.
Well, and that's what I want to do my mission of, and hopefully that will get approved.
That's right.
Come on. And I mean, I still want to do all of this stuff I've mentioned.
Yeah, I do like that.
So, whoa. Well.
There.
Maybe. Hold on. Maybe if we turn the brightness down.
Whoa.
There we go.
Yeah.
So there we go. So that's the Twigs by Novel Reed. She's got a whole beautiful set of sweaters that are just beautiful and free, which is really great.
This is free?
This is free.
Oh,
I know.
Put that in my library.
I know. And she's got a few others that I put in my library recently. So I want to do that. And so hopefully I'll get approved to do that as my mission, because I have not proposed an owl, because I apparently have been failing at owls recently. Maybe I'll do the Haitofudi as an owl.
You can wait that long?
For charms. Probably. I have a lot of stuff I want to get done.
Okay.
I have the... And
I've done the Haitofudi.
I have the quadrat to do. I have my artichoke French to finish. I have that goddamn blanket to do. And then I have to buy the yarn and knit the blanket for the wedding that's next weekend. That I'm not... It'll get to them late.
We've already sent some stuff.
We've sent them stuff, but I would like to knit them a blanket since they do own a house and all that. So, plus I feel like I feel like they're knit worthy.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So then, if we all remember back to...
Careful.
Shit.
Elizabeth.
Sorry. That hurt.
Oh, because it was the edge of the glass.
Well, the edge of the iPad in my wrist. So if you remember when I bought these toes at Fiberspace, I was going to make baby hats.
Yes.
I've not done that yet. But Woolly Wormhead just came out with a new collection called Elemental, which is based off of the Avatar cartoon series. They're so pretty. Look at them.
They are pretty.
They're so pretty.
They are very
So they're
pretty.
written for DK or worsted weight. I'm thinking of making them in fingering weight and like cutting down the size, like doing like half of the size and half of the pattern maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I can actually do that. I was going to make them with fingering weight yarn and make them like baby hats, but I feel like that's still going to be too big.
Well, we've got to look at the pattern. And you can downsize almost anything, sweetie.
I know. Okay, we'll take a look at it.
We'll take a look.
Because I think that'd be super cute.
I think it'd be very cute because then you can have matching hats, mom and baby.
Well, but also I just think
they're very
super
pretty.
Cute. And I want to get some little hats done. And
okay.
I mean, well, I think they'd be cute also for, like, I was hoping that they would go down to preemie, but I think that'll be too big for preemie hats.
Well, since we haven't gotten a swatch, since we haven't looked at the pattern, the answer is I have no idea.
Okay, fine.
We have to see what the pattern repeat is.
Yeah. Okay,
and
I'll
you
show
can
you.
go to smaller needles.
I could.
So we go down on the needles, and you got smaller yarn. I think it's entirely possible.
Okay. But so the Woolly Wormhead patterns are Azula, Katara, Cora, Opal, and Toph. And I think they're so pretty.
Very pretty.
And yeah, they're done in garter stitch side to side. And then you graft, or I think it's like a 3-needle bind off. You graft the provisional cast on to the last row. But I think that's really, really
That'll
neat.
be fun.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And I thought that might be good once if I can memorize the pattern, it'd be good subway knitting.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because now that this has gotten to this stage, I don't think this is good.
Not
subway knitting.
It's a little big.
It's a little big now. It's a little bit too big. So, we'll see. And if you're just curious, I have cut out all of the poplin, the underskirt.
Oh, for the skirt.
For the skirt for my outfit for the wedding in Miami in October. And I...
Working on the chiffon tonight.
am going to try to work on the chiffon tonight.
While we watch the Emmys.
And then I need to find some tape. We probably have some tape somewhere in this house.
I'm sure we have tape somewhere in this house.
Because I want to tape the pattern piece I cut off to the new pattern paper so that I can, instead of just extrapolating.
There's definitely tape down in the office.
Okay. So that, I think, is going to be the plan. But that is where I'm at with my sewing. I thought I was going to get way more done yesterday than I did because cotton poplin is really hard to pin.
It's a dense fabric.
It's a very dense fabric. And then it was so much fabric that I had to do it on the floor, which then made my back hurt, and it's just a mess. And so, yeah. But yeah, that was that. And I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, as I said, I've just now gotten the right front on my needles, so I'm starting on that. I'm going to try very hard not to cast on anything new.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to try very hard not to cast on anything new, so that hopefully when we talk to you next week, I will have gotten some really good work done on the green Age of Asparagus sweater, because it's so delightful to knit. It feels so good.
Yeah, that's on Bug Up by
Burton Griffin.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try not to cast this on, and try not to cast the dress on.
Well, but what
over
are
there.
Are you proposing a mission as well?
I am.
What are you proposing as a mission?
I don't think I should tell, because it's supposed to be secret.
Yet I did.
No, there was one. What was the one that had a bow?
It was inspired. Let's just say the prompt was inspired by Dolores Umbridge, and it said include a bow. So I don't know if you all have picked this up about my mother. My mother loves tie-neck sweaters. My mother saw the word bow and goes, yes! Because she can make a tie-neck sweater.
I can make a tie-neck sweater. So,
I don't know if you remember from when we told you about the culling of the patterns for the sewing patterns. She had millions of tie-neck sweaters. Tie-neck tops. Whatever. Things with tie necks.
I love them.
I kept on telling her she needs to compare it to the others we have already okayed.
I love
because
them.
We cannot have 5 million of the same thing.
I love them. So anyway, we did pare down the patterns. I found more patterns.
Oh, God.
So sometime we'll have to go through those. But be that as it may, I have proposed a tie-neck sweater. And I'm going to do it in that reddish yarn that I had started that poor boy in.
Is that the Amelia from Neighborhood? Or not Neighborhood, from Nerd Girl?
That's Amelia.
That's Amelia? I thought that was... Oh, you mean the other one, the pinky reddy one.
Yeah, it's like white and red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I already finished the Rhinebeck sweater is red.
Yeah, and ribbed, and you didn't need another.
I didn't need another one. So I'm going to use that yarn for the tie-neck sweater. You know, I'm a person who you just cannot have enough tie-neck sweaters. I made one in
yellow
from
Sweet Georgia.
It's from, yes, thank you, Sweet Georgia. And you know, I get compliments all the time on it. I'm not going to do the same pattern. Okay. I'm going to use a pattern from A Stitch in Time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I know that there's one in there that is really nice, and it's for fingering. So I'm going to do that. And that sweater kicks off on the 24th. So
right, because you've been approved, and I have not yet.
Well, I turned mine in.
I know. I decided to do it late.
Or second day.
I know. I decided to do it last night.
You know.
And I responded to questions today. So.
You know, I did do it several weeks ago. And it took them a while to get to me. I mean, I wasn't early on. I was like post number 350 or something like that. So it took a while to get to me. And the thing of it is the prompt said you had to don't be blatant in your proposal, because you need to have something plausible deniability if your message gets interrupted. So I did a play on the word bow.
Is it a bow or a bow?
Well, in my response, it should be say bow, dip, and twirl, as in a dance.
Oh.
See, but bow being spelled.
Wow, look at you.
Look at me. So, yes, I did that as my effort to join in the spirit of things. I have found that I have not been getting involved in my little group in Ravelry as much.
We should have taken a photo of the bucket. We could have submitted it as the headmistress challenge.
Oh, no. What's the headmistress challenge?
Situation bettering. Work to improve a situation. clean up a mess, pick up litter, help the environment, do some gardening, work to make something better in your community or in another community. Save the world.
Well, would you get it or would I, since I was the one who picked up the bucket?
You would get it. So today, we're sailing around.
Yes.
And my father sees this bucket.
Floating in Long Island Sound.
And he goes, oh, look at the bucket. And I go, oh, great. And he goes, no, look at the bucket. That's a good bucket. And I'm already going, oh. We're totally going to turn around for this bucket, aren't we? And he goes, we're going to do a man overboard drill. And Mom goes, I'll get the boat hook. I was like, for a bucket?
Yeah.
And so Dad's already turning the boat around. And Mom goes and gets the boat hook.
Scrambling.
And she goes, if there are dead fish in it, I'm not picking it up.
No, I do not pick up dead fish.
So we go around and we go right by it, and Mom picks it up, and
First
I help
try.
her get it on the boat, and there's no dead fish in it, and it's a damn fine bucket.
It's a 5-gallon joint compound bucket that is so clean. It is absolutely amazing. It's like it's been washed.
Yeah.
There's no scum.
And, like, the handle is still really well attached.
Because we picked it up, of course, it was full of water.
Yeah,
so it was really heavy. Do I need a picture for that?
I mean...
I guess I do.
Description of your bettering work, explanation of how you're bettering fulfilled the current challenge category.
Well, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. All right. So, yes, we made the real battery. We picked a big plastic joint compound bucket out. I was amazed. I actually grabbed it with a boat hook on the first try, but we did.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I did this week is I finished putting away all of Robbie's magazines that she gave me. So I only have about 15 that are duplicates.
Okay.
And they're in the box over there. So I'm very proud of myself for having done that.
Well done.
Yes, yes. So now you see we have extra space over there. I worked very hard at trying to clean up my room here.
I see.
Yes, yes. So for Rhinebeck, I have the goal of finding some DK weight black and
so the
red.
goal that you've had for the last, DK black and red.
Yes.
Because you've had the DK black for the last few years as your goal.
Yes. So now this would be black and red. It would be nice if I could find a skein that goes from red to black and back again. That would be lovely. And that will go with my cowl, and I will be somewhat color coordinated. Of course, with my fuchsia coat, that's going to be quite a look. Oh, well.
I think once I finish sewing this skirt and top and
we'll work on our
whatever,
coats.
we should work on our coats.
We should work on our coats. I spent far too much money
I spent a good amount of money on mine too. Yeah.
On that fabric to not work on it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I have to buy the lining for it, but we also need to figure out if I need to buy more of that fabric to make the coat I really
have
want.
a lot of planning left to do.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So I think
it's time to weave in those ends.
Yeah. So we will see you all next week.
Yes, we will.
And if you want to get in touch with us, we will have a thread for the week open on the Ravelry group.
Yes.
Please come talk to us. We really like talking to people, but it gets really boring when it's just the two of us in the thread. Well, and usually we
text each other anyway.
Yeah, so usually we'll move it just to text messages, and it's not that we don't want to interact, it's just that no one's interacting with us.
So, yes. So
please
come talk to us. And also you could say anything in the down bar here. So, because those comments come up and gives us a high sign to go look at them. And I respond, I promise. And so that would be great. Yeah. But meanwhile, we're really happy that you all stopped by. So that would be lovely. And we're going to go watch the Emmys. And I'm going to work on my dad's sweater. And
we will see you all later.
Yes, thank you very much. Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.